times. One of the experiences that I can share is when I was like waiting for the bus one time, and I was literally just minding my own business on the waiting on the corner. It was like a corner bus stop, and a guy came up and he literally like pulled down my face covering.
What?
And
Wow.
the thing that really I knew about this person's, like, I understood the ignorance, but what bothered me the most was that there were so many people standing on that street corner and not a single person came up to me and asked me if I was okay.
Like, basically just share about like how, okay, I guess you can frame it where it's just like why sisters are so tight knit together, and they really like, you guys are not insular community, but you guys are really cautious around who you let in around you, right?
I think so, but I also like even think that just in general as a people, because of the experience after 9/11 and all of that, like
Yeah.
we're just so scared of like, there were so many people in our community that were just being shipped off,
Oh, really?
because of all of that.
Wow.
So I think that's just something that it's a fear that we've had
Yeah.
as a Muslim community. And then being a woman, along with that experience, I also spoke about the experience where I was fully covered for a good number of years. And
Oh,
after
wow.
9/11, I kept myself covered, but
Mhm.
there was a time when President Trump, or ex-president, I don't even know how to say it,
Yeah.
but when he came into like the presidency, that was when I was like so triggered by what was being said to me when I was out on the street that I was like, okay, I can't handle this because of the anxiety. So I stopped.
So you stopped wearing your religious garment because of the pressure while going outside.
Yeah.
You was afraid
Yeah.
to wear it.
Yeah.
Wow. This,
And
wow.
I would I mean, there were a few times. One of the experiences that I can share is when I was like waiting for the bus one time, and I was literally just minding my own business on the waiting on the corner. It was like a corner bus stop, and a guy came up and he literally like pulled down my face covering.
What?
And
Wow.
the thing that really I knew about this person's, like, I understood the ignorance, but what bothered me the most was that there were so many people standing on that street corner and not a single person came up to me and asked me if I was okay. And by the time
Wow.
I like, the bus came, I pulled myself together and I went straight to like, I was going to school, so I went straight to like my counseling and therapy services.
Really?
Yeah, just
Did-
to kind of
Mm.
I bowled my ears, my eyes out,
Wow. Did like going through that experience, who did you have to turn to when Muslim women in America or everywhere, like they experience these traumatic events? Who do they turn to? And I guess this would kind of preface why you wanted to start this whole mental health awareness for everybody, but I know specifically close to your heart is Muslim women, right?
Yeah, we turn to each other a lot of times, but sometimes I feel like there are experiences that we're not capable of like handling.
Right.
If there's a sister that's coming in and saying that she's experienced, she's cutting, or she's facing extreme just depression, or she's in a situation where it's like she doesn't have a way out, or whatever the case is. A lot of times I feel like we have our best intentions, but we're not equipped. So that's why I like to promote the mental health awareness and the counseling sessions and all of that. I think that you always have to make sure that you're getting help from somebody who's actually qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's deep. Could you talk about how when you experienced that traumatic event, you said you had your sisters to talk with, and your sisters helped you during that time? Or did you have any males to talk to, like your father, your brother? Did you want to share that with them? You didn't want to burden them with that type of information?
To be honest, I did not want to burden them. I didn't.
Yeah.
And when I did, I had an article like that was written. I wrote like a small, I guess, a piece, and it was shared online. And I remember the comments on it was, why is she even outside by herself? Like, that was the question. It wasn't,
Why is she even outside? Oh, they went to victim blaming.
yeah. So it wasn't even like, oh my God, we should do something about this.
Right.
It was like, well, what was she doing outside?
Did you see any other Muslims that day on that bus stop, or was it just you? You feel like you're the only identifiable Muslim?
At that time, I feel like I remember it was just me. In regards to being like
Right.
that identifiable as a Muslim.
Right,
But
right.
there were other people.
There were other people.
Yeah.
Now, how did that experience affect you? Like afterwards, were you more like to yourself? Well, I know obviously you stopped wearing what is it called?
It's called a niqab.
A niqab?
Yeah.
Okay. I know you stopped wearing that, but
I didn't immediately stop wearing it. I kept going, but there were other experiences that
Really?
I went through that were just like, okay, this is the last straw. Like I can't,
Wow.
you know, I don't think I can function like this. And in Islam, it's not, you know, it's not like you don't burden yourself with something, and especially with the niqab, there's a difference of opinion. Some people say it's mandatory, some people say it's not.
Right.
But for me, I was at a point where I was like, okay, if this is hindering so many other things that I have to do in my day-to-day life,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just kind of step back, which
Right.
is sad, right? Because we're living in the land of the free,
Yeah,
or
so they
supposedly,
say.
right?
Yeah. Wow, that's very interesting. So, tell us how now. How does that tie into time in your life? Did you start taking mental awareness seriously, and like you wanted to like mental health awareness seriously, and wanted to start?
Well, I've majored in psychology, so
Okay.
you know, I think as soon as
Explains
I
it.
jumped into that, I was like, okay, you know,
Yeah.
that was where I started to like focus on mental health, and then also just awareness for the youth. That was
Okay.
something. I have a nonprofit called Pearls of Hope. And
Called what?
Pearls of Hope.
Pearls of Hope.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was more of the aspect where it was just helping Muslims, youth, girls specifically, and young men as well. We had both, just being able to be proud of their identity as a Muslim.
Hmm.
So that's something that I started.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I have to double back about because we kind of caught the portion of the story. I wanted to get the story again with the spy. If you feel comfortable sharing that story again, like just basically.
if you can, I would say if you would leave me with questions.
So what are some times where you've kind of like allowed your trust in someone, and you felt like you've been targeted as a Muslim woman besides being like that incident with the bus stop? Like, what are some other instances where you feel like you were targeted as a Muslim woman?
There's so many, you know, and
Mhm.
that's the sad part. There's so many. This was just walking down the street during the summer, being fully covered. I've had people just ask me, "Aren't you hot in that?" Or something as aggressive as like, you know, cursing me out just because I'm covered, you know. So I feel like at times there's just too many to even like think back to. It becomes a norm for us,
Mhm.
you know, in the train.
Does
you
it
know.
really become a normal?
You're just
norm
you're
for you?
just kind of learn
Wow.
to ignore it.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, you know,
Mhm.
this is something that you know, that we experience. The looks.
The looks.
Yeah, the looks.
Do you feel like these type of instances happen more so around like heightened like fears and stuff in the country, like 9/11? Was it more so around that time?
Definitely more heightened during that time.
But
100% sure. But right now, there's still experiences. I have young girls come up to me, talk to me about like, you know,
Mm.
something that's happened on the train. You know,
Wow.
you know, that they've experienced, or even just like walking, you know, from home to the mosque or anything. You know,
Yeah.
there's always going to be incidents that happen. But I feel like the generation after 9/11, and even before, I even remember before 9/11, there were instances where it was just the not knowing of the people that were around me. Like they did not have the awareness of Islam and what
Yeah.
a Muslim is, who a Muslim is, and you know, it's happened. It's just not knowing. You know, like
Yeah.
I think if you come into contact with a Muslim, it's like such a cliche, but we're human, right?
Yeah.
Like, what more can we say? We have emotions, we have feelings,
Right.
we have families,
Right.
all of that.
Right. Wow. What do you want to tell other? Because I'm sure there's tons of. They're in the comment section letting me know that they appreciate what I'm doing right now with this series. What do you want to let other young Muslim women know who are currently experiencing the same thing or has experienced the things that you've gone through by being Muslim in America, and you know, or just any woman in general that's facing discrimination because of maybe the color of their skin, their beliefs? What do you want to tell them?
I would say is, you know, be strong, and don't let these things distract you, whatever it may be, you know, because sometimes, and it's easier said than done, because there are times when I've gone through these experiences and I've been left like just want to like crawl into a shell,
Yeah.
But it's just, you have to be strong and just keep forging forward for whatever, you're doing, whatever your dreams are, whatever you feel like is important to you.
Wow, that's great. Okay, did you? I remember you was telling me something. Did you say like you had a spy befriend you?
Yeah, so this was when we were in college. There was
What?
a woman that came in, and she would come into our circles, our MSAs, our prayer room, and like we were just so friendly with each other, the sisters in that in the prayer room and stuff like that. So we would just be like, hey, how are you? Where are you coming from? And she'd just say, oh, I'm from this college, or I'm coming from this MSA, or I'm coming. So MSAs is Muslim Student Association.
Okay.
So we have those in universities and colleges. And just I remember her just from the first time I met her in the prayer room, and she just kind of just like, oh, I'm here with these friends. And there were a couple of sisters that were with her, and they had come from, I forget what college it was, but they had come from that college to visit us because we had an event.
Okay.
So that's when I met her, and then she just became an acquaintance and then a friend, and she was invited to the same wedding as I was. We were there together. There was events that I saw her. She even gave me a ride. And I remember one time when she gave me a ride, her car was so clean. That's something that I'll never forget. It was just like,
wow.
There was nothing there that would indicate that it was somebody's like personal vehicle.
Here's that psychology coming in.
Yeah,
now.
and I'm just like, in the back of my head, I'm just like, wow. And I did tell her, I'm like, wow, you have a clean car. Not knowing why she had that car. And then in hindsight, you're just like, oh my God. You know, that's what that was.
Wow.
And even her just asking questions about
that's so
my
bizarre.
Organization, my beliefs as a Muslim, like all of that, just trying to like find something, find something. It was an experience. It left me very, like, when I found out, I was just in shock. Because. And
how did you find out again?
Sisters that invited her, the sister that invited her to her wedding, her henna. And the sister that was her best friend,
but how do you find out somebody is a spy? Like, how does that information even get disclosed to the public?
Honestly, I'm not sure exactly who found out or how it was found out, but as soon as it was found out, it was just like, oh my God, all right, let's backtrack, let's is she still? But she wasn't in the circles. She just disappeared. She literally just disappeared.
You think she got closest to you out of everybody else?
No, there were other sisters that she visited their homes. She invited to their weddings.
Alhamdulillah, she didn't visit your home.
I mean, she tried because I was moving at that time, and she was like, "Hey, you need help moving?" She had a car. I didn't have a car at that time, and I remember I was just like, "Oh, I'll let you know." But I didn't.
Like intuition.
Yeah, I just didn't know why I was hesitant about it.
Okay. Wow, that's so crazy. Like, I don't think I've ever spoken to someone that's been like tracked down. But that just goes to show you the amount of like, and on a serious note, it just goes to show you the amount of kind of like scrutiny or unnecessary things kind of like Muslim women have to go through in the country. That's why this episode I just want to highlight that, like, just not just the struggles but also the victories too. Like,
well, can I tell you?
Yeah.
I'm executive director of Muslim Community Center, so I think that's an amazing victory.
Yes, yes, it is.
And I'm proud to be able to say that, because I feel like this role that I have is something that's hard earned, and not only is it hard, I worked hard for it, but also it's something that shows these young girls that are coming into this space that anything is possible. Like, you can work your way up, and you can be a part of a community and lead. Like, I'm leading. Not am I only leading women and girls, I'm leading young men and brothers and all of that. So it's an amazing experience for me.
Yeah, because I was gonna, the following question I was gonna ask is that, being a Muslim woman and you have such a high level role in this facility, do you feel like, where the mainstream media or with some things maybe the West have heard that, Muslim women doesn't really have the equal rights and things like that, do you feel as though that's true?
For myself, I think in general, right? Like, I feel like it's always like Muslims. It's not
Right.
You know, it's not about the inequalities that women overall face.
That's
so
very
it's
true.
not specifically just like, oh, Muslim women are oppressed. I mean, we're still fighting over equal wage. Come on. You know,
True.
like those
Yeah.
are things that we have to like discuss and talk about.
Right.
So for me, as a woman, I'm gonna say that of course we're always gonna have to fight. We're considered a minority at the end of the day. You know, like we have a bunch of white men leading us, and
Yeah.
you know, so I can't really. I don't even. I feel like it's fair to even say that. You know, for people to be like, oh, Muslim women are oppressed and they're this and that. Find me a woman that's not oppressed somewhere, somehow.
True. So, what are some of your earliest memories? Because you know this is a language channel. Like, what are some of your earliest memories of Pakistan? Because you're originally from Pakistan, right?
Yeah, I was born there in Azad, Kashmir, and I came here when I was about like 4 or 5, and I basically grew up here. And my earliest memories are like I remember going back the first time, and just my dad will always take us back there every 2-3 years. And one of the important things I remember was he would always encourage us to speak the language in the house.
Really?
Yeah,
So
he would.
what language was it? Was it Urdu or was it?
It's a dialect from where we're from. It's called Batwari.
Batwari.
Batwari, yeah.
Batwari.
Yeah.
How do you say hello in Batwari?
Same thing you say Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, you say kya hal hai means how are you.
Kya hal?
Yeah.
Kya
Kya
hal?
hal hai.
Kya hal hai?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hear you get that. Batwati. I just butchered it, but.
No comment. And he would encourage that. He would encourage us, you know, speaking the language in the house, and
Yeah.
he actually recently passed away, my dad. So
Oh no!
there's
Sorry to hear that.
may Allah have mercy on him. Thank you. And I think he implemented like that love of the country, of back home and the culture, and kind of was really he encouraged that in us, you know.
Right.
And I think one of my memories about my dad is that he would go to work and he'd bring me books, and he'd ask me like, what book do you want me to bring you next?
Oh really? So
Yeah.
he started you to love of books.
The love of books, yes, he encouraged that, and then also like the love of documentaries.
Really?
We would watch, like I remember we would watch like nature documentaries, you know, PBS.
Yeah, he likes that stuff.
Yeah. He stopped. I guess you do like I don't know what exactly you do to like re-enlist. I don't know. what it was.
Re-enlist? Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
he encouraged that, the reading aspect, the documentaries, the education part, and even like till he got really, really sick, but when he was better during some days, he was still watching documentaries.
He was still watching
He was
documentaries.
still watching documentaries,
Wow.
documentaries, always telling us to tell the truth, you know, be good to others, just like reminding us
Yeah.
to be, just knowing who we are, you know, as Muslims.
Did and he said he recently passed away, right?
Yeah.
Was he able to see that the position you're in now?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't able to see
No,
his
he
position
wasn't.
now.
He
Okay.
wasn't. He passed away in January. He had a long battle with AML. It's it's a leukemia.
Oh man.
Yeah. Happened during COVID, and just
Yeah.
it took him, but he fought through it.
He fought through it. He fought strong.
Till then, yeah, he was extremely strong.
And what do you feel like one of the lessons that you always keep dear to your heart that your father had taught you, or you got from your father? Like he gave you the gift of reading and documentaries, the love of those things. But what's something that keeps you going forward?
I think there's so many things that I can say. I can sit about and talk about my dad for days, but I think just him always. I remember in our conversation we had close to his passing. He just said, just be honest and don't lie. Like he would always
Wow.
I can't remember specifically what the conversation was, but he was like, you know, have the fear of God, know that he's watching, and he encouraged honesty, and he was always straight up, never beat around the bush. If he saw something, he told you, whether it was whether it hurt your feelings or not. He was like, this is wrong, don't do this.
Wow.
Or this is, you know, this is not how you should do it this way.
Sound like my kind of guy.
He was amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and you know, I'm sure he's very proud of you.
I think so. Yeah.
That's true. I know we're gonna run out of time. I just want to ask you like one more question. So where do you see MCC? What's the goal for MCC with the 5-year plan for MCC, and specifically your department? Because like you said, you have your own Pearls of Hope, and then you're facilitating like the mental health awareness area. So what is your goal for the next 5 years? Because MCC is growing. You guys just got a new facility, and it's expanding rapidly. So
it is. It's faster than we can try to keep track sometimes. But my goal for the next 5 years. So we're basically working on lots of programs and just keeping those programs running. So mental health programs, book clubs, things like that, where people are able to come in and feel like a sense of community. Like the book clubs, because I love to read, so I just like to put that out there. But programs for kids, for the youth, we're going to be doing a basketball league for the youth. We're going to be doing basketball competition for the sisters. So a lot of sports, because we do have that gym and we want to utilize it to the best of our, to the best of our ability, I guess. So the next 5 years is something just making sure that making use of this big facility and making sure the programs you have are sustainable, and able to help the community grow. And we also are forging forward with the idea of opening an all girls high school. So that's Vision 2025 for us, that we are in the works right now. We're sending in the paperwork, trying to make sure we're doing it correctly, so that by the time we get to 2025 we have this school ready, for Muslim young girls.
And
high school.
Does that work? How does the school for young Muslim girls work? Like, is it like they'll receive credits that they can actually apply to?
So it's going to be just like any school, any high school, like a private, like there's Catholic schools and yeshivas. So all girls Muslim high school, and just focusing on STEM, focusing on just building strong women,
Yeah. Is it the first of its kind?
Right now, all girls, as far as I know, yes, it is. All girls, it is.
That's incredible.
We do have, of course, high schools, Muslim high schools for girls and boys, but we're just focusing specifically on young girls.
And this is your idea?
This was an idea of Muhammad Bahi, and we're a part of the team, so he came up with this.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it. I know everybody else is. Where can they find more information on the all-girls school and you personally? Because I know there's maybe a lot of women out there that want to reach out to you, and Muslim women are just thinking about.
So they can go to our website. They contact me via email, sonia@mccbrooklyn.org. And in regards to the school, it is right now it's in the works. So we're basically just working on the paperwork. And soon as we have a website up and we have all of that, we're going to be putting it up and we'll share it. But you will probably find it through our MCC link. So if you go to our website, most likely once everything is up and running for our school, then we'll just put a link in there and you can just be directed to the school.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sonia.
You're welcome.